this is a comment on a video we posted regarding setting your goals for Ramadan, right? And so a lot of people responded to the videos in positive ways, like, yeah, I want to do my goals. But then this guy comments, he says, is there any tip for a Hafiz? My feelings and goals are just full of anxiety of leading the Taraweeh at night and giving an exam at the very morning. I just don't get excited for Ramadan like others do. What do I do? I've already started revising seriously, and I've been revising here and there without consistency throughout the whole year. But still, I want my Ramadan to be my practicing days, but I just get so busy in memorizing full Taraweeh that I don't get time to do work on my Ramadan goals like others do. So,
what's funny? I have the same exact problem.
Okay. So how do you deal with it? How do you address or mitigate it?
The goal of Ramadan is to connect with the Quran, and I think if we build that deep personal connection and take away, okay, this is a lesson for me from Allah directly, right? Then inshallah it'll be more fruitful, and we'll continue to build on those good habits.
So for me, the biggest challenge, honestly, was the pressure I got from people. With me, I always enjoyed like revising Quran, trying new styles of tajweed and different recitations, copying my favorite imams. But the biggest problem I faced was, during Taraweeh, I didn't think it was going to be stressful until the first night I actually led, which is around 14 or 15 years old. And the issue was that upon completing the first night, I thought I did great, but everyone came up to me and had mixed opinions.
The most, I think, beginning Hafiz feel in terms of, the anxiety of leading is the first thing that we always, the entire Ramadan, every day you wake up, this is the only thing you're thinking about. And I totally still sometimes actually am in that space.
Some people would tell me, oh, you read too fast. Some people said you read too slow. Some people said not enough tajweed. Some people said, it's you're going at a pace that's like not good enough. It's too slow. And so it was nerve wracking. It would make me double guess everything.
Ever since I've been leading, and it's been the same thing. Like, oh my God, Ramadan is coming. What I did find out, and this is towards the end part, like towards the recent years, is that it becomes a lot easier. Unfortunately, the beginning part for a Huffadh it's always going to be stressful.
I had a great chef. He's still my chef now too. And with him, he just kind of told me to ignore it. Ignore everything completely and just focus on the studies that I need to. And so that's all I did. I would take it juz by juz. Every single day, one juz a day. And I know there's days that it gets difficult. For me, I didn't have that struggle too much, alhamdulillah, because I was younger, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So by the time I was in high school in those higher level classes, alhamdulillah, I feel like my revision was a little bit stronger.
I think you have to make a mental kind of shift in your brain to enjoy it, because right now it's a stress. You need to shift that stress to make it enjoyable. That requires a level of psychological shift in the way you think about why you're doing what you're doing.
And I think the reason why it became easier, later in the years is because of the revision. We feel like, hey, we've done this before. Okay, it's easy. Let's go at it. So what I would recommend is probably start the revision. I know you said you started it, but I would probably try to review it in your mind, like, just as you're walking, as you're doing your day-to-day work. If you're going in the bus, in the school, anywhere, just kind of have it playing in your memory, even if you mess up.
I think the main thing is revising every single day. No matter, it doesn't have to be a full juz. It could literally be 5 pages, 10 pages, as much as you can in the little free time that you get after Salah, before Salah, going to school, little things like that before bed. So that was my biggest thing. And then, of course it takes some time, but slowly, you feel the pressure kind of release, and alhamdulillah, now it's just kind of natural, and I enjoy it a lot.
And when I transferred myself into that space, you think you're protecting the Quran, but the Quran is protecting you.
And now it's like, even in Ramadan, I'll just recite, for example, it's the first night of Ramadan, I'll just revise the first juz. Even if I know it really well, I'll do it 2 or 3 times in that same day, just because I need to really get it down. And that really helps me feel ready for the night too.
You want to be connected with it. It's not stressful anymore. It's not a chore that you have to do because people are counting on you. You're doing it because you want to do it, because you're best positioned to do it. Your mindset changes. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, it is a very tough thing to do, but this is something, I would recommend it. Just start to review a lot, and inshallah, it will become easier for you.
For everyone in general, you need to, Ramadan is a month where Quran came down. It's a month of Quran. You are the Hafiz who is basically giving the Quran to the community. And so you're really bringing it down to the community for them. And that's your task. And I think that's a worthy goal to have, even if that's the only thing you're able to do. So I wouldn't be detracted from what you're doing and thinking about what other people's goals are and how they're happy. You need to see, why are you not happy reading the Quran? Why are you not happy being in that position where so many others can't be?
When I finished doing hifz, my hifz wasn't really the strongest. So I started with about 5 pages a day, worked my way up to a juz a day. So now I'm at a juz a day.
And this is just regularly throughout the year.
Yeah, regular throughout the year on a daily basis. And for Ramadan, the practice, honestly, it's just routine for me. So now it stays the same. The only difference is I'll maybe read the same juz multiple times a day rather than just the once. But generally, it's about the same. And alhamdulillah, the stress is gone,
Team up with somebody to lead with, because if you are doing the whole burden of leading, and this is your person and you don't know it, right? Maybe if dividing it up with 2 people, and that way you take the load that you can, and it's not more stressful than it needs to be.
What we're trying to do, inshallah, this year is actually have more sectioned people that are going. Oh, not sectioned, but have them recite specific sections that they know ahead of time. Hey, I'm only reading 4 pages, for example, right? So focus on those 4 pages, and then work more on your ibadah. Right, and if the ibadah comes through the recitation, then focus on the meaning and the take-home lesson from that section of recitation, right? So perfect just those 4 pages, whatever it is. Don't go the whole just by yourself. That's overwhelming. Then because at that point it just becomes, I just have to mow my yard. Let me just do that, get it over with, and that's not the goal of Ramadan.
I have brothers. I rely on them when I have a bad day, and I can tell them that you're going to take on from this portion to the next. And then we'll, divide up our portions that way. Find a plan to divide it up to lessen that stress level for you, because that way you're going to just focus on your portion.
The stress I used to feel as, growing up, I don't have that same stress. Of course, you still have a little bit of anxiety, but it's like the good anxiety. So, alhamdulillah.
So now for you, what's the thing that gets you excited for Ramadan specifically?
I think it's just seeing everyone gather together in the masjid. Once I see all my friends are together, once I kind of get in that atmosphere and that environment, everything just kind of falls in place for me.
If you take this as a type of responsibility that Allah has appointed you for, and say, this is my task for the community to get them as enjoyable Ramadan as they can with leading, and that's part of my responsibility of holding the Quran. If you can be in that space and then do whatever you can, you're allowing others to fulfill their goals through you.
And I know it's like stressful, especially the first week, but inshallah, like it'll get better throughout the nights, and then year by year you get stronger and stronger. So